Tonight, running a marathon is tough, but for some, just getting to Duluth for grandmas has been a challenge too, thanks to some existing COVID restrictions. Plus, never give up. That's the message from a local priest who is overcoming obstacles to keep his grandma's marathon tradition alive. And a local county is at a good pace to meet vaccination goals put in place by Minnesota's governor.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Baki. Thanks for joining us. Crossing the finish line for Grandma's Marathon is hard enough, but for some elite runners, just getting to Duluth to participate in the marathon was a challenge in itself. CBS3's Emma Quinn joins us in the newsroom to explain how COVID-19 restrictions threw many of these athletes a curveball this year. Emma.
So, Kristen, due to plans for this year's Grandma's Marathon falling into place later than most years, many elite runners had to make a big decision if they wanted to race this year, as they faced many physical and logistical challenges. Since many major races and marathons haven't been held over the last year, some of these elite athletes haven't gone through their normal race training. With the late go-ahead from the state, many of those runners had to choose whether they wanted to put their bodies through that rigorous training process in a much shorter period of time. For many international runners, the big challenge was simply getting to the United States due to different countries' COVID-19 restrictions, pre-travel quarantine guidelines, and obtaining proper paperwork.
We can try to get them here, but it's not a for sure thing. And even this week, we've had a couple of people drop out because they got to the airport, were planning on coming, and then they weren't able to get on the plane to come to the United States.
Grandma's Marathon officials say it's not only getting these runners here, but also getting them home. Again, that's because restrictions and quarantine rules vary depending on a runner's home country. Now, in 2019, about 187 elite runners competed in the full marathon. And as of today, Grandma's Marathon has roughly 50 elite runners between the men and women's races. Some of them are from here in the U.S. and others are international.
Now, Emma, obviously we have the Tokyo Olympics coming up just next month. Is Grandma's Marathon a qualifier for those games?
So, Kristen, the U.S. Olympic trials have already happened, but for some of those international runners, Grandma's Marathon could allow them to qualify for their home country's Olympic team.
Well, best of luck to them. CBS3's Emma Quinn reporting live for us in the newsroom tonight. Thanks, Emma. A Duluth priest is calling his ability to take part in a Grandma's Marathon race this year a miracle. Father Ben Hadrick is a priest at St. Mary's Star of the Sea Catholic Church in Duluth. He has always loved running and has completed 20 Grandma's full marathons in a row. But in the last few years, he suffered 2 strokes, a major one striking just last year. Despite the odds, he will be keeping his Grandma's tradition going this weekend, just in a different way.
And now I praise God that I can walk. So plan is, if possible, to do it the 5K on Friday evening. If not, I'll find a different place to have a 5K walk, 3 miles to walk.
He hopes his story helps motivate others. And if you'd like to cheer him on, you can find him at the William A. Irvin 5K tomorrow night. Even though the races don't start until tomorrow night, Grandma's Marathon festivities are already underway. Here's a live look where locals and tourists are enjoying the Essentia Health Fitness Expo at Pioneer Hall. As runners stop by to pick up their race packets, vendors are offering the latest products in the athletic and running industries. The free event runs until 8 o'clock tonight. You can also stop by tomorrow from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. And also near the expo is the MICHELINA'S all-you-can-eat spaghetti dinner, which will run from 11 to 9 tomorrow in the Deck's Lake Superior Ballroom. Masks are not required, but are strongly encouraged, even if you're vaccinated against COVID. Tables will be limited to 8 people and cleaned often. We have prices listed on our website. Dave joins us now for a quick check of the weather. Dave, the excitement is in the air, and I know a lot of people have their eye on what the weather's going to be like tomorrow and Saturday.
That's a very good point, Kristen. So first, let's put our eye on I-35 just south of Cloquet and see if traffic is picking up, and it looks like it is. There's more coming north than there is heading down to the south, so a lot of early birds getting here into the Northland to get their place set for the big race on Saturday. And I don't think the weather's going to cause too much trouble. It should be dry tonight, and there will be a slight rain chance for Friday, as last night's low you can see heading towards Hudson Bay drags a cold front through the region, which is attached to another low working up from southwestern Minnesota. And despite the best efforts of those two systems, Our rain chance for Friday is only 20%. So high temp, it'll drop to 73 degrees tomorrow because of the cold front and may stay that way for Saturday for race day. Will there be rain on race day as well for a little natural cooling effect? I'll let you know which way that goes coming up after the break.
All right, thank you, Dave. New tonight at 6, an Ashland man was killed in a motorcycle crash today. Now authorities are searching for the driver of the other vehicle involved. The crash happened just after 1 this afternoon on Highway 2 in the township of Eileen, just outside of Ashland. Authorities didn't share details about what caused the crash. They're looking to question the driver of a black SUV. They say it has dark-colored rims. Authorities believe the vehicle has out-of-state plates or vanity plates. Anyone with information should call the Bayfield County Sheriff's Office. The victim has not been identified yet. An elderly Duluth man is recovering after being stabbed at his lakeside home. According to Duluth police, the 78-year-old saw a man looking inside his truck in the 6100 block of East Superior Street around 2 p.m. Wednesday. Police identified the suspect as 28-year-old Warren Holt Jr. Holt reportedly said he liked the truck, left, then returned a short time later. Police say Holt stabbed and attacked the victim, took his keys, and left in the truck. DPD issued a regional alert and found the suspect in the truck a short time later near I-35 and the Scanlon exit. The victim went to the hospital with stab wounds, broken bones, and injuries to his face. Holt was booked into St. Louis County Jail on aggravated robbery, assault, and theft charges. Police say he did not know the victim. This incident is under investigation. Carleton County is just a few shots away from reaching its goal of vaccinating 70% of its residents against COVID. That milestone comes just in time for the governor's July 1st deadline. Today, organizers said a pop-up clinic in Cloquet likely helped them reach that goal. The mobile Vax bus was offering residents the one-dose J&J vaccine to people 18 and up. Their goal was to vaccinate 100 people today. It was a partnership between the Minnesota Department of Transportation and Blue Cross Blue Shield. Organizers say they hope making it convenient for people will help the county reach its goal.
We wanted to be able to make sure that we're meeting people where they're at. We want to make sure that there's no barrier to receiving a COVID-19 vaccine, especially with being so close to reaching that 70% goal that the governor had indicated earlier on.
The clinic today wrapped up at 2. Carleton County officials say if you miss them today, there will be more events like this in the future. We have a link to resources on our website. Health officials in Wisconsin are tracking the spread of the newest COVID variant. The State Department of Health Services says there are more than 24 cases of the Delta strain. The CDC says it's highly contagious and can be resistant to vaccines, although being vaccinated does give people some protection. The Delta variant has been tied to case surges in other countries, including the UK. And Michigan is lifting the rest of its COVID restrictions earlier than expected. The indoor capacity limit and mask requirement will expire at the end of the day on Monday. It was supposed to last until July 1st. Michigan's governor credits more vaccinations and plummeting COVID-19 infections for the change. Mail carriers say they love neighborhood dogs, but sometimes the dogs don't love them. The United States Postal Service says more of their workers are being bitten on the job. It's a problem all over the country, including in Minnesota. CBS3's Abigail Smith explains how a new initiative the USPS launched this week aims to put an end to the problem.
It's summer, and the familiar sound of your neighborhood dogs as you walk by may bring a smile to your face, assuming they're looking for some special attention. But sometimes a dog's bite is truly worse than its bark.
Nationwide, every 15 seconds, a carrier gets bit. There was 5,800 dog bites last year.
In Minnesota, there has already been 43 reports of mail carriers getting bitten by a dog this year. That's on track to match or exceed last year's numbers.
The other large impact it has is on the customer, because if they do have an aggressive dog, we won't deliver that address, and the carriers do have our full support with that.
It's why the USPS named this week Dog Bite Awareness Week, hoping to educate the public and keep their carrier safe while out on their routes. Mail carrier and safety liaison for the Duluth Post Office, Sheila, has seen this firsthand. She's been nipped and pinned against a wall by a dog.
It's probably happening because people are leaving their dogs out, with the quarantine and stuff. There's been a lot of people home and their dogs are out a lot more.
She says you should keep your dogs inside since they may act differently when a stranger is around, especially especially new puppies taken in during the pandemic. With limited exposure to other people, that might make those dogs more anxious around new faces.
The safest thing to do is just keep your dog away from the carriers. Friendly dogs, we know that most dogs are friendly, but we just want to be safe. We just don't want to take those unnecessary chances.
She added that some dogs may think a stranger handing their owner mail is threatening, and they'll be more prone to bite. Above all, they say the best advice is to keep your dog inside and keep the mail flowing.
Postmaster Matt McFarland warns that if your dog is out and a postal employee feels threatened or unsafe, they won't deliver your mail to your door. For more information on how to keep your dog and your mail carrier safe, you can visit our website. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, U.S. Steel announced 42 acres of land will be given to an Iron Range school district. How they hope to use it, next.
Today's record high comes from 1995 and it's 93 degrees. Today we made 83 at Duluth International Airport. The normal is 73. Tomorrow will be closer to the 73 than anything else. Will it stay that way for the weekend? Get warmer, get cooler? I'll let you know which way we're going with those temperatures coming up after our break.
The CBS Evening News with Nora O'Donnell. Weeknights on CBS.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health cardiologists Kalkadan Bishu and Kimberly Boddicker talk about the MitraClip, a transformative technology that treats congestive heart failure in a minimally invasive way.
The MitraClip is a small device that is used to treat a leaky valve in the heart.
It is placed inside via a catheter, so no open incisions. The catheter goes up to the heart, and then basically the clip pulls the two leaflets of the valve together.
Really, its job is to hold the two mitral valve leaflets together and keep blood from going in the wrong direction, backwards into the left atrium and then the lungs.
Symptoms of severe leakiness include increased fluid retention, bloated bellies, swollen legs, problems sleeping, shortness of breath, an irregular heartbeat, and fatigue.
So by getting rid of this leakage, we can improve the pressure within the left atrium and within the blood vessels inside the lungs, and thus improve shortness of breath symptoms. So the goal is to improve symptoms, and with improvement in symptoms, patients are able to do more and thus improve quality of life.
Oftentimes, we can see a result while we're still in the lab doing the procedure. So people who are sick enough to require the mitral clip, a lot of their blood flow is going backwards every time the heart squeezes, even though it's supposed to be going forwards. And so we measure that real time by blood pressure monitoring, by other catheters in the heart. And oftentimes, as soon as we close that, their blood pressure improves, and we can tell that the fluid levels or the blood levels are moving in the right direction.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medicalinsight.
Celebrate summer with a certified vehicle from Cary Toyota in Superior. Head for the hills in this 2017 Highlander Limited, or drive away in a certified 2018 RAV4 Hybrid. Prefer a larger SUV? Check out this certified 2021 4Runner TRD Off-Road, or choose a certified 2018 Tundra Limited for all your outdoor adventures. Inventory is constantly changing, so hurry in to Cary Toyota in Superior to lock in your 2021 summer driving fun while supplies last. You can also ask about our rental vehicles. Cary Toyota in Superior, voted best car dealer 22 times.
Hawaii, lush and tropical, home to some impressive inhabitants. The intense heat of the summer has brought them to the local watering hole. Competition is fierce. Tension brings the claws out as the locals display the dramatic and often unpredictable behaviors of the courtship ritual.
I do have a wild side.
Love Island, the new season starts July 7th on CBS.
CBS3 News is brought to you by Fond du Luth Casino.
Gail King, Anthony Mason, and Tony DeCopel. Weekday mornings on CBS.
Now, the CBS3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Last night's rain didn't do too much for us. I think we got about 1/10 of an inch here in Duluth, which brings our June total towards 4/10 of an inch. But that leaves us almost 2 inches shy of normal. We need rain, and because of the lack of rain, the fire danger is back up again And so western Minnesota, it's a pretty serious situation from Bemidji towards the border with North Dakota. And it's only a slightly less serious problem for much of Minnesota right now, much of northwestern Wisconsin and the UP. That's a fire weather watch issued by the National Weather Service because of low relative humidities for much of Minnesota, a good chunk of Wisconsin and the UP, at least through tomorrow night. And as I always say, the solution is rain. We have a slight chance tomorrow, but it probably won't dent the problem. Better chance, though, could be with us on Sunday. We'll talk about both go-arounds coming up after a look at these current conditions. It's still 81 at the airport in Duluth, and there's the low relative humidity reading of only 29%. The wind is westerly at 10 miles per hour, and that's a pretty decent speed and a dry direction to help take more moisture out of plants. Current air pressure is a little on the lower side, 29.75 inches of mercury. Because of that low, that did bring a little rain last night and could bring a little bit more tomorrow. 20% chance. We'll show you more about that in just a bit. Right now we show you the current temperatures where we go 78 to 80 in the Upper Peninsula. Northern Wisconsin numbers are running about 75 to 82. Ashland is the hot spot today, with Superior being in between the pack. 79 is what we have from Cloquet down to Moose Lake, and it's 82 for Two Harbors and Silver Bay. 78 to 82 for much of the Iron Range territories, and 83 degrees currently International Falls. With the cool front working through tonight, that's going to take temperatures down a little bit, especially in Minnesota tomorrow. Right now, we still have a low pressure system up to the northeast working through our area with its cold front as another one bubbles up from the southwest following that frontal boundary. And the result is some light showers that are popping up in parts of Wisconsin and the UP. Pretty much done for Minnesota, though. Just keep in mind that in Friday, that front and that low, that'll bring us a 20% chance for showers. So again, that chance hasn't got much of a chance of paying off. And getting into Saturday, higher pressure brings back the sun. For race day, high temp 73. Should be good for the runners. Keep them from overheating. The better chance of rain, as I mentioned, comes in on Sunday. It's a 70% chance, and hopefully that'll give us what we need to knock down that fire danger. Tonight in Minnesota, look for lows in the 50s with a partly cloudy sky, and it's a very similar forecast for our friends in Wisconsin and the UP as well. Tomorrow, much of the day could be on the sunny side, despite the 20% shower chance, Wisconsin, Michigan. High 77 to 82, so the cold front doesn't do much there, but it does a better job of cooling things down in Minnesota. 20% shower chance and highs in the 70s. And now here's our extended forecast. After a nice day Saturday for the race, it gets cloudier and rainier on Sunday, and cooler too. 60s for Sunday, Monday, before we bounce back into the 70s by next Tuesday.
All right, thanks, Dave. U.S. Steel donated land to an Iron Range district, helping them move forward with plans for a new school. The NASHWAUK-KEEWATIN School Board announced the 42-acre donation yesterday. The land is located between Nashwauk and the O'Brien Reservoir. District leaders say it takes them one step closer to building a new school, replacing the current century-old elementary and high school buildings. The district is hoping to partner with the state, the IRRB, and other agencies to fund the project. Voters will have the chance to weigh in. Wisconsin lawmakers are getting closer to finalizing the state's budget proposal. The Wisconsin Legislature's Budget Writing Committee is finishing its work on the state's next two-year spending plan today. That will pave the way for the Senate and Assembly to vote on it later this month. Republicans have promised a tax cut as large as $4 billion, thanks to better revenue projections. They're also promising to make sure the state doesn't lose $2.3 billion in federal coronavirus aid. That money is in jeopardy because their current plan does not allocate enough money to K-12 schools. George Floyd has a new statue on the East Coast. This sculpture was unveiled outside the Newark, New Jersey City Hall. The 700-pound bronze statue will remain there for at least a year. The unveiling also coincides with the Juneteenth holiday, which commemorates when the last slaves were liberated in the U.S. on June 19th of 1865. Meanwhile, Minnesota prosecutors say Derek Chauvin should not be granted a new trial. Chauvin is the former Minneapolis police officer convicted of both murder and manslaughter in George Floyd's death. Chauvin's attorneys have called for a new trial, citing pretrial publicity and alleged misconduct on the prosecution's end. But in a court filing yesterday, prosecutors said Chauvin was unanimously convicted of 3 counts based on evidence that shows his guilt. The judge has not said when he will rule. Chauvin is scheduled to be sentenced June 25th. Coming up in sports, a former Bulldog will look to compete for a spot on the U.S. Olympic team this weekend. Kelly is in with details next.
Order your 2021 Polaris side-by-side now from Duluth Lawn and Sports.
CBS3 Live Cams, brought to you by KohlerChevy.com, now featuring the Kohler Express Deal online buying solution. KohlerChevy.com, a better way to buy.
Fairview has expanded options to access your own physician. You can be seen in person, and we would encourage you to do so if that's recommended by your provider. We also have telephone and virtual visits available, as well as e-visits. Certainly it is safe to come into our clinics or our emergency room if that is needed, and we've got enhanced safety measures to keep you safe when you do come. We do want patients to feel comfortable to receive the care that they need when they need it.
Fairview Range, we're here.
Culligan, our water makes my skin and hair feel like I'm 90.
How do you feel about high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
What?
How do you feel about smoother skin and luxurious hair?
I feel very good about that.
That's the power of water.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Bolins.
And I'm Ann Nolette.
And we're Advanced Surgical Associates of Northern Minnesota.
Our goal has always been to provide the latest and best surgical techniques to you and your family.
We want to provide an alternative to the traditional surgical practices that the hospitals offer.
With robotic-assisted surgery, you're likely to have a shorter hospital stay, experience less pain, and recover quicker.
We serve Duluth, Ely, Hibbing, and the surrounding areas. Learn more at mnsurgery.com or give us a call today.
We have a structure fire with injuries on Highway 13.
Did you know your friends and neighbors volunteer to provide emergency services? They are serving many communities and need your help. Challenge yourself. Be part of the team. Be somebody.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show! This show is about connection. Not even 2020 and socially distancing ourselves are going to get in the way of that.
Are we 6 feet apart? The Kelly Clarkson Show on CBS3.
Hawaii, lush and tropical, home to some impressive inhabitants. The intense heat of the summer has brought them to the local watering hole. Competition is fierce. Tension brings the claws out as the locals display the dramatic and often unpredictable behaviors of the courtship ritual.
I do have a wild side.
Love Island, the new season starts July 7th on CBS.
Sports are my passion and the love of my life. And when you watch a sportscast, the biggest compliment that I get is that you seem so excited about what you're talking about. And that's not an act for me. Who doesn't want to see someone, you know, deliver their news in a fun way? So if you love it, I love it. You're gonna see the authenticity that I think I bring.
Watch sports with Kelly Hinsett weeknights on Live Local CBS3. Get your news on the go. The CBS3 mobile app. Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinsett.
The Grand Rapids baseball team has not brought home a state championship in the sport of baseball in 37 years, but now they're one win away at Target Field from another title. They thought they had the firepower to do it last season with a strong group of seniors, but COVID-19 took that opportunity away. So this year, they're back with a group of young talent looking to get the job done. In the state semifinals, sophomore pitcher Miles Gunderson went 7 complete innings, holding St. Thomas Academy to just 3 runs. They shut down the Cadets in the 7th after they brought the tying run to third base.
I don't know, I was in a weird feeling, you know, I was feeling really, really pumped, and I knew I had to do my thing, so I just kind of blocked out both runners and just did what I did all game.
Tough situation for a young pitcher, but he's been in tough situations before, and we knew he could handle it. You could see just by his actions how loose he is. After the top of 7, when we got out, I was talking to Miles before, and he was just smiling, and he said, "Isn't this fun?" And I said, "Maybe for you it is."
Well, safe to say that Gunderson put his coach at ease after he shut the door. Tomorrow at 4 o'clock, They will play Matamidi for all the marbles in Minneapolis. Grand Rapids has won 2 state baseball titles in program history, one in 1978 and one in 1984. And some big news out of Bulldog country this morning. A former track star and former UMD All-American qualified for the U.S. Olympic trials this weekend. Danielle Beatty made her mark and left a legacy on the track for the Bulldogs during her 4-year career from 2017 through 2019. Her records have yet to be broken at UMD in the 100-meter dash, the 200-meter dash, indoor and outdoor, and the 100-meter hurdles. In 2019, Beatty put up the NSIC 100-meter hurdles time to beat, which has yet to be broken as well. She also raced her way to the NCAA Division II National Championships in the 60-meter hurdles in 2019. This afternoon, she sat down with us to talk about her big upcoming race and what it means to see that vision board of her competing in the Olympic trials come to life.
It's so crazy that like now I'm 2 years post-collegiate, like I'm living the dream that I wanted to. I'm making forward steps to hopefully the Olympics someday, and if not the Olympics, like just having this experience of getting to run and hopefully that getting to be my job someday, because that would just be cool in itself.
She will battle it out on the Olympic trials track in the 100-meter hurdles on Saturday, June 19th, out on the West Coast in Eugene, Oregon. The 100-meter hurdles are set to go off at 7:04 p.m. You can watch those over on NBC Sports Network. Well, after threatening a lawsuit against the University of St. Thomas, a Division III, soon-to-be Division I athletics program has reinstated its women's tennis program. UST announced today that it will not cut the women's tennis program. Last month, the university announced its plan to eliminate both the men's and the women's varsity tennis teams at the end of the academic year, saying it was unable to adequately provide the conditions necessary for the programs to compete at the Division I level. However, after the team threatened a lawsuit citing Title IX, the program will stay. And we'll have plenty more on this tonight at 10. Best of luck to First Grand Rapids. We talked a lot about that yesterday, your neck of the woods, but also Danielle Beatty.
Very exciting.
Her husband used to work here.
He did.
And they are very excited. And so personally, we are very, very excited to watch her this weekend.
Best of luck to everyone.
Yes.
Thanks, Kelly. Well, Dave, it's pretty warm out there today. Is that going to continue?
No, it'll cool down tomorrow thanks to a cold front tonight. That'll also stir up a chance for some rain showers tomorrow afternoon. It's only a 20% chance. So I think in Minnesota, 73 will be a common temperature, though the cold front may not have as big an effect. In Wisconsin, it may be closer to 80 there. For Saturday, the cooler air lingers, though, so for race day, a high temp of 73 with a mostly sunny sky seems to be just about picture perfect. Then we do get a decent rain chance on Sunday. Rain we definitely need.
Well, enjoy that sunshine. We'll see you at 10.